back when I was like 25, I guess, or 26, so not too long ago. I'm only 34. I worked up in Churchill, Manitoba, then I worked as a dog sled guide up there, so we'd actually run clients out on the tundra. And you know, anyone who knows of Churchill, Manitoba knows it's the polar bear capital of Canada. And so we'd see polar bears pretty much every day. We'd encounter them on the dog sleds, and our dogs would want to chase them. The bears are scared of dogs, especially when you've got 8 of them trying to chase them. So my biggest issue was trying to stop the sled and keep them in position while I got the shotgun off my back and fired off a blank above them just to make sure that the polar bear was running. And then we would have them come in at night. We even had a little cabin we lived in, and we had, you know, what was it, 46 dogs that lived around the cabin and an electric fence. And we had all the frozen chicken meal and stuff that we used to feed the dogs under the house, but the polar bears could smell it, so they'd be coming in at night time to look for this food. They'd hit the electric fence, that would sort of like keep them back, but then the dogs would be, of course, barking. So we'd wake up, here's this huge polar bear on the other side of the fence. We'd have to put like a, you know, a spotlight on it so we could see it, and try and, you know, it's not being deterred by all these dogs. So then we'd have to shoot blanks, you know, and that wouldn't necessarily work. So then you'd have an M80 shell that you could shoot, so it would shoot a wad of explosive out, and it would go boom. And then sometimes that wouldn't even work. You actually have to bounce one off one time. The big male, who's probably, you know, 13 feet tall if he stood on his back legs. That was, yeah, kind of a regular occurrence on most nights. And then we had another instance where we were right next to the Arctic Research Center, and that's where we'd go have meals. And they have a storage room with the freezers in the back, and so they pulled out all the meats and stuff to thaw one night for all the staff and everything. And they had a bunch of tofu sausages and bacon and stuff like that, all this out there. And these two young polar bears came and they broke open the wall, and they took and ate all the food, and they left the tofu sausages. But then the next day we had to get out the traps. They have these big trapdoor barrels, so huge barrels that they can go inside, and then it shuts. And so they had to trap them, but only one was able to be trapped. And so that was a very interesting experience to sit there and watch them actually go in, and then suddenly the trap come down. And this trailer that it's on took, you know, I think it took like 6 men to manhandle it off the back of the truck to sort of get into position, because it was just really solidly built. Suddenly this trap door comes down, this young polar bear's in there, and this whole thing is lifting up and down on its wheels as it's trying to bash its way out. So you can just see the power of the bear. And that was really interesting, because at that point I was able to go up to the grill and be like this close to the polar bear. And you know, he's in there and he's just putting his claws down the grill, this and he's taking the paint flecks off the steel grill. And it was just, you could just see how much power there was in those claws, and you just knew, like, if it was raking human flesh or anything like that, it would, you know, there would just be no chance. This trip we're doing is going to be a totally different barrel of polar bears, really, because the ones in Churchill are used to having people around. They're used to being hunted by man. They're used to have dogs hunting them with man. So they've got more of an intimidation factor against them from man and dogs. So it was easy to use that aspect to sort of stay safe. But where we're going in Svalbard is they have not been historically hunted by man. And so man is definitely something that's on the food chain to them. And so they're a lot more curious, they're a lot more willing to encounter man. But that being said, there's, you know, 3,000 plus polar bears on the island, and in the last 10 years there's maybe been 3 polar bear attacks. So it's, you know, the odds are pretty low still. You know, it's probably still more chance of being run over by a car than anything. You know, I started kayaking when I was 12 years old, and I've just pushed it, and I've been an outdoor educator and guide and instructor. And you know, this to me is a chance to sort of see what I'm made of, and also to be able to see, you know, polar bears. You don't want to see them too close, but you know, it's always amazing to be out there and you see walrus and polar bear and, you know, bowhead whales and stuff like that, and that's always pretty magic. And to go to a place that no other person's very rarely ever been, especially by kayak, is a very kind of unique experience that, you know, that's something that I have always longed to experience, really.